After seeing so many new flagship target bows get released for 2017, I decided to reach out to 4 manufacturers to see if they would loan me a test bow for a comparison. As luck would have it, all 4 said yes. In the order they arrived at my house, I've got the Bowtech Fanatic 3.0 with SD cams, the Prime STX 39 V2, the Hoyt Prevail 40 with X3 cams, and the Mathews TRX 7. Before digging too far into this comparison, it should be pointed out that all 4 of these bows shoot way better than I do. None of them have any obvious flaws. Compared to the entry-level hunting bow shootout we did last year, it's been incredibly difficult to find anything really to complain about. You can tell why the top pros in the world shoot these bows. It should also be pointed out that any opinions on these 4 bows are mine alone. What I might like about a bow, you might not, and vice versa. If you've got a different opinion, let us know in the comments. Just be nice, I'm very sensitive. The Bowtech Fanatic 3.0 with SD cam has an axle-to-axle length of 37 3/4 inches, a brace height of 7 inches, a mass weight of 4.7 pounds, and IBO rated speed of 320 feet per second. Draw lengths range from 24 to 29 inches in half-inch increments with a rotating module. The Prime STX 39 V2 has an axle-to-axle length of 39 inches, a brace height of 6 3/4 inches, a mass weight of 4.6 pounds, and IBO rated speed of 323 feet per second. Draw lengths range from 24.5 to 30.5 inches with module changes. The Hoyt Prevail 40 X3 has an axle-to-axle length of 40 1/4 inches, a brace height of 7 3/4 inches, a mass weight of 5 pounds, and an ATA rated speed of 312 feet per second. Draw lengths range from 26 to 32 inches in half-inch increments with a rotating module. The Mathews TRX 7 has an axle-to-axle length of 40 inches, a brace height of 7 inches, a mass weight of 4.92 pounds, and an IBO rated speed of 332 feet per second. Draw lengths range from 23 to 30 inches in half-inch increments with module changes. All 4 of our test bows come with 60-pound max limbs, and we outfitted each of our bows with Doinker Platinum high mod stabilizers, Doinker Carbon Elite stabilizers, bright sight arrow rests, specialty archery peeps, clarifiers, lenses, and scopes. The Hoyt Prevail 40 with X3 cams is perhaps the easiest, smoothest bow I've ever drawn. It just does not feel like 60 pounds. The draw cycle ends smoothly into the wall with no noticeable dump into the valley. The valley, however, is quite short and it will jump on you if you're not paying attention. As for the back wall, it's a bit spongy with the X3 cams, but if you can get your top and bottom cams hitting their stops at the same time, it stiffens up quite a bit. If you really like a firm wall, this might not be the setup for you. The Prime STX 39 is another easy bow to draw, but there is a slight dump into the valley, and if you're not careful, it can knock your arrow off your rest from time to time. Speaking of the valley, the Prime has the most generous one of the bunch, at least how I've got it set up. You can move the stops in or out to add more valley or take it away and make it more aggressive. It's a really versatile setup. The Prime comes with both cable stops and limb stops, so you can set the wall up to feel any way you like. I don't love limb stops on a target bow, so I'm using the cable stops, which are firm without being super harsh. The Prime probably has my favorite combination of valley and back wall. The Mathews TRX 7 is a bit stiff on the draw, which is to be expected from a bow this fast, but it is incredibly smooth. There is zero dump off into the valley. That may be because the valley is so short. The TRX demands your full attention at full draw. It is eager to jump on you if your form breaks down at all. I prefer to shoot this bow with one turn out of the limbs, which makes the valley more manageable for me. For a cable stop bow, the wall on the TRX is quite solid. The Bowtech Fanatic 3.0 can feel pretty much any way you like thanks to power shift technology. I've tried every combination there is and I'm pretty happy with either performance or comfort settings in the 65% let-off. You get an easier draw with the comfort setting, but both are fairly smooth with no dump into the valley. The valley is pretty short though and can get jumpy at full draw. Interestingly, the bow felt best to me when I had the module set at 28.5 inches and the cable stop set at 29. It completely changed how the valley felt. The wall is fairly firm with the round cable stops, but you can switch to the triangle stops to stiffen it up even more. I liked how the round stops felt, so I've kept them on the whole time. My favorite grip of any of the 4 test bows is the Hoyt. It just feels right in my hand, but I've always been partial to Hoyt grips. 4 different modular grips come with the bow, and I personally used a standard grip, but it's good to have options. My second favorite grip is on the Bowtech. It's nice and flat in the front, and the angle feels good in my hand. The only issue I found was the texture of the grip was a bit slippery when my hand gets sweaty, so I put on some grip tape. The grip on the Prime is nice and flat on the front and generally feels good in my hand and doesn't slip even when my hand gets sweaty. But I found the top of my thumb rubbed on the shelf. Hardly a big deal, but we're picking the tiniest of nits here. I'm not a big fan of the grip on the Mathews TRX 7. The front is good and flat, but the grip is fatter than I like, especially at the top. For me, the grip doesn't quite fit, but you can buy different grips and I'm sure one of those would work. Once these bows get set up properly with stabilizers, there really isn't an issue with stability with any of them. That's the benefit of long axle-to-axle bows loaded with flagship technology. If I had to pick a winner in this category, I'd probably choose the Mathews TRX 7 by the slightest of margins. This bow has the longest riser I've ever seen, and despite the fact that it's not really any heavier than the other bows, it's got some heft to it. Throw in some Dunker stabilizers and this bow sits nice and still in your hand. Ranking the other three bows really feels like a fool's errand. The Hoyt Prevail probably required the least amount of effort on my part to get comfortable with, but none of these bows is going to move around on you much if you're doing your part. The Bowtech and Prime don't suffer my foolishness, but I can't fault them for my sloppiness. Truthfully, I didn't have trouble tuning any of the four bows, but I have to give top marks to the Bowtech Fanatic 3.0. Having top and bottom yokes makes micro-adjusting, cam lean, and paper tuning a breeze. Throw in power shift technology, and this bow will do whatever you want it to. Though it doesn't have the Bowtech's bottom yokes, the Hoyt Prevail was shooting bullet holes for me after 3 arrows. This bow was a snap to tune, and it's held that tune ever since. I was a bit intimidated by the parallel cam design on the Prime at first because I just hadn't seen anything like it before. When I first set up the bow, I just couldn't get quite comfortable, but then I watched the Dave Cousins tuning video, immediately fixed the issue I was having, and the bow has felt great and held its tune ever since. The Mathews TRX 7 was also fairly easy to tune, but the issue I'm having is I've got a little bit of cam lean. This can be fixed, but you need the Mathews top hat system to do it. And you also have to be fairly comfortable using a bow press and working on your bow because you have to remove the cams to get it done. We published a speed test video a little while ago, which you can find on our YouTube channel. Using a 350 grain gold tip platinum pierce arrow, 60 pounds of draw weight, and 29 inches of draw length, the Mathews TRX 7 was the quickest with a 3-arrow average of 300 feet per second. The Bowtech Fanatic 3.0 was second fastest with an average of 298 feet per second in the performance setting. The Prime STX 39 V2 clocked an average of 286 feet per second, while the Hoyt Prevail 40 X3 averaged 282 feet per second. As these are flagship target bows from some of the biggest manufacturers in the business, fit and finish is pretty impeccable all around. But for my money, top honors go to the Hoyt Prevail 40. The riser is flawless and looks great dressed in anodized silver ice. Even after months of shooting thousands of arrows, the finish is still pristine. I know some folks don't like it, but the Mathews TRX 7 is my favorite looking bow of the year. The white riser and white limb combination looks absolutely fantastic. The riser finish is a powder coat and it's showing some wear, with a couple of chips in the paint being the only thing keeping this bow out of the top spot. I'm a big fan of the look of the Bowtech Fanatic 3.0. The riser is a great looking design and I like the blue color, but I'm not a big fan of the texture on the finish. I just can't get a good grip on it when my hand gets sweaty. However, the riser is showing zero signs of wear, though there is some wear in the cams where the modules screw in. The Prime STX 39 V2 is dressed in a matte gray powder coat, which is then covered in a clear coat. If you'd like a target color, that'll be a $100 upcharge. Functionally, everything is sturdily built, but the riser is showing signs of minor wear with some small chips in the paint around the shelf. When it comes to price and value, every bow in this comparison is going to put a hurting on your wallet. But when you look at this group, you can't beat the Bowtech Fanatic 3.0. It has the lowest MSRP of the bunch at about $1,500, and it comes with everything you need to set it up how you like it, including comfort and performance modules in 65 and 80% let-off and 2 different cable stops. The Prime STX 39 V2 has the same $1,500 MSRP as the Bowtech, as long as you get it in matte gray or black. If you want a target color, it'll cost you another $100. The bow also comes standard with cable and limb stop options. All of the Hoyt Prevail target bows can be found online for about $1,700, no matter the color, the cam style, or axle-to-axle length. That price comes with the 4 modular grips, but if you want the 75% let-off mods or the new hard lock stabilizer system, you'll have to pay extra. At $1,800, the Mathews TRX 7 is the most expensive bow in this comparison, but that price includes any color you like. However, as we mentioned earlier, if you're having any trouble with cam lean, you'll have to buy the Mathews top hat system extra. Choosing a winner in this comparison has been incredibly difficult. I have changed my mind many times over, and I think that's a testament to how good all 4 of these bows are. In fact, I've set personal best with 3 of these and should have done it with the 4th if I didn't drop a late 5 in a known 3D tournament. You couldn't go wrong with any 4 of these bows, and I think choosing a winner is really up to personal preference. Ultimately, if money was no object and I can only have one, I think I'd choose the Hoyt Prevail 40 with the X3 cams. The draw cycle is just so smooth and the fit and finish is so nice. Throw money into the mix, however, and things get more complicated. Do I love the Prevail $300 more than the Bowtech or the STX 39? I don't know. If you can shop at a dealer and find a better deal on any of these bows, I think I might go that route. For my money though, the perfect bow would have the draw cycle of the Prevail, the valley of the STX 39, the wall of the TRX 7, and the tuning options of the Fanatic 3.0. Somebody tell the engineers to get on it.